Let's now give the floor to Naguib Sawiris, who somehow is going to represent a sort of a far-reaching spokesperson for some complex issues. He's an entrepreneur. He also joined the transition after the Egyptian revolution of 2011. He's among the founders of these Free Egyptian Party, and he has always been very focused on what is happening all around about social changes, and also he proposed to buy an island in the Mediterranean to welcome immigrants. So we want to know more about his point of view. So about the migration flows, what he thinks, so from the point of view of a person who certainly has an international background because he's an international player. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to be here today. This is a topic that is very near to my heart. I think we need to go back to the Arab Spring to see where did this migrant problem really happen, and how did it start. When the Arab Spring started, people went into the streets revolting against a dictator, the dictators of their country, whether it was in Egypt or Libya or Syria. Their hope was always to strive for a better life, a democratic life, and to fight for their freedom, and for a better life. Unfortunately, the events did not go as wished, because they were confronted with two choices. Either they will yield to a fanatic religious regime, or they will accept a dictatorship. Both choices are definitely not acceptable. As a result of the persecution of minorities, whether they were Yazidis or Christians, and with the evolving of ISIS, there is an instrumental change in what we call migrants, because up to before the Arab Spring, we were used to migrants fleeing their countries because they wanted a better life. They wanted a better job, a better salary, a better life condition, healthcare, social benefits, all of that. But post the Arab Spring, we had migrants, and I'm specifically speaking about minorities in the Middle East, who were fleeing for their lives. We all know what ISIS did to the Yazidis, from raping or killing to the Christians of Iraq, the Christians of Syria, and everybody. In that event, people are fleeing for their lives. So we need to really differentiate these two issues, the people migrating for a better job and people running for their lives. Because if you are going to take a boat with the likelihood that you might die on the way, you must be really fleeing from a worse destiny, or you would not do that. And therefore, all of us need to share this misery from a point of view of a heart, not of a point of view of politics or numbers and so on. I believe that we failed, the world failed, and especially the Western world failed, because when we saw the beginning of ISIS and the beginning of the extremism and Al-Qaeda and what happened in Iraq, then Syria, and then Libya, we were watching, we didn't do anything. In the past, we used to go and look for bin Laden and the terrorists in Bora Bora in Afghanistan. Now we know where they are, and we didn't do anything, especially the American administration. We sent some planes to look for them like that, but they are involved with the people. They take the people of these countries, whether Iraq or Basra or Syria and Raqqa, and they put these people into slavery. They force them to live like the mid-ages, and the whole world knows that and closes an eye. So we should have confronted terrorism. We should have confronted these evil people, because they are only soldiers of the devil. We didn't do anything. There are two aspects. There is confronting terrorism and extremism, and this there's no solution except to use the force. There is no solution to confront terrorism by our conferences and our speeches. We have to confront it like men who fight for a good cause. The other problem is creating jobs where people live. As long as we don't have a Marshall Plan for Africa and the poor countries where we can create jobs for people, pay them the decent salary and give them a good life, they will keep on going and coming here. So we need a European-backed Marshall Plan for Africa, for the whole North Africa, for everybody, so we can create jobs in the countries that are suffering. And we need to talk to the governments, because we have also inefficient governments in these countries that are corrupt and not doing whatever is needed to help their own people. So we need to fight that, but with more strength and more endurance. To go back to my island idea, it is an idea that I wanted to clear my conscience. I cannot explain, but I'm a very sentimental person. And when I sit in front of the TV and I see, and you've seen this very moving video, and I've seen the pictures of the young boy, Elan, when his body was thrown on the beach. And I was thinking, okay, I am fortunate, but maybe I would have been unfortunate that this boy would have been my son. So what would I have felt if it was my son, And I don't like to be, let's say, indifferent to these images. So I thought, what could an individual like me do, being a businessman, and I have experience in development and so on. So the idea of the island was more of me buying for myself some space in heaven, on earth, doing something good, to give my conscience somehow a good feeling that I didn't see this and I didn't do anything. And now what's this idea? The idea was simple. I saw a lot of islands, which are in Greece and some in Italy also. These islands in Greece specifically are owned by private people, and they were willing to sell these islands. So I proposed to buy an island. I made a list of 23 islands. I negotiated with the owners, and I knew the prices, and I made a plea to what was my idea exactly? I would buy the island. I would make a temporary shelter. I will take the Syrian refugees as much as I can take or allowed to take, and they will build a new country on this island. They will build a school, they will build a hospital, they will build a hotel where they can work in, and they will create their own jobs by living there. So if there are Syrian doctors, will work in the hospital. If there are Syrian engineers, they'll help building. If there are workers or carpenters, they will build the island. It was a sustainable model, which means people come to the island, build their new city, live there until the circumstances in their country becomes better. And the whole financing of that, I would have provided that from my own money, so there was no need to go out and ask for any help, All what I needed was the approval of the concerned government, whether in Greece and in Italy, to allow me, because I would need a passport control, I would need security, admission. That's the only thing I needed. So I wrote to the Greek government. I met the Greek Prime Minister, and at the beginning he was enthusiastic about the idea, and he promised he will support, I told him, I don't need anything from you. All what I need is to tell me you can take 20,000 or 100,000 refugees, you can put them on this island. And I gave him a list of the islands so he can choose even which island is more beneficial. And I said I will do the rest with the people, And there's a lot of people in the world who corresponded with me and who wanted to volunteer into this effort. I must say, unfortunately, that my idea has not been received or supported by the Greek government, because the response later on was very vague. There was nothing, and I didn't get the reaction or the help I need, because I cannot just take the refugees and put them on the island. There are sovereign rights here, and I have to respect them. There is also security issues, and there is a need for a custom, passport control, security help. Otherwise, I would be infringing on Greek sovereignty, I also proposed the same to the Italian government, but in Italy it's different because the islands belong to the government. They don't belong to individuals. But I still really believe in my idea. It's a good idea. It's a simple idea. If it lacks only the political will to support it, to say, okay, let's go and support this young man or old man in his effort to create a new society, a new environment in one of these islands. If it succeeds, we can multiply that in several islands. We create jobs. Even it's good for the economy of Greece and Italy because we will use Greek contractors. We will invest hundreds of millions in these islands. And later on, when the problem is resolved, many of these people would like to go back to their countries, and whoever wants to stay and continue what he's doing, he likes the life on the island, lives there, you know. It's not a science fiction, and it's not a fairy tale. It's a concrete, simple, doable idea. And I am very serious, and I'm known to be serious. I have never set something in my mind in my life that I have not achieved. And I call for everybody here to help me, whatever the way you can, to put pressure on these governments to say, well, why not? What do they have to lose to embrace this idea? Because like President Prodi said, you know, we need politicians that don't only look at the elections, but we need politicians with a heart. Politicians that will sit in front of the TV, watch a video like that and cry and feel bad for these innocent people. That's the kind of politicians we need. Thank you.